So here are some tips for when we are drawing lips. So just like some of the other photos that are a little bit blurry, I'm just gonna kind of bring in some outline for me to reference. And then I'm going to use the outside of this cutout shape and trace it. So you can see I already worked on one pair of lips over here and forgot to record myself. So I am gonna do this one on the left here. So this one was the male's lips, and I'm gonna show you after I show you how to draw these lips, how I added this texture on top. The texture comes at the end. So if you've got a mustache or a beard or a lot of texture that you're seeing on the lips, we're gonna do that at the end after we get to the overall values. So first I'm going to make some marks. I'm gonna use the edge to start to make some marks for myself. How high up does this dip go on this mouth? How far away from the edge of the paper does this mouth go? You know, how close to the top, how close to the bottom kind of stuff. And then how close to the bottom. Give me my overall shape. Now we're gonna go ahead and break it down a little bit more. So what I'm seeing here, and some beginner mistakes with drawing a mouth, is that we think about where the top and bottom lips meet, that we just create this straight line. But the real secret, the real uniqueness of the mouth comes with how our top and bottom lips meet. This line here, it really helps show the expression that this person is making as well. So just look at this one. This one's a little bit open and much more curved, right? With both of these, we see the edge kind of coming down. We see a more dramatic look up here because her bottom lip is kind of more full at this bottom here. So we're seeing that change this line of where they meet. So I'm seeing it come down about here. When we see this like lip crease at the top, that's where I generally start to see it come up and come down a little bit more, come up, kind of come down. So I'm just gonna make this line, kind of make some adjustments here. And again, sometimes we really start to see more adjustments when we're doing the values. I'm gonna make this a little softer. Okay, another thing about values with the lips, we are going to see a shadow happen, especially at the corner crease of the mouth. Whenever we're thinking about where to apply values on the face, I want you to think, where will the light hit the face? Okay, so if the light's coming from above, the light is gonna hit at the top of the lips, because at the top of the lips, it comes outward a little bit more. So that's where a highlight's gonna hit. If it's going inward, back into the face, that's gonna be like the upper lip, right? That is gonna come inward. So that's why we create a shadow, a pretty heavier shadow on this upper lip. The bottom lip comes back out, so it's going to have a highlight to it. And the lightest part is generally in the center there. And then again, what's going backwards is right below. If something's coming forward, something is usually going back inwards. So what's coming back inwards is going to create a shadow below the mouth. So that's generally where you're gonna see some shadows. You're also gonna see some shadows, when we have this like curve at the top of our lips, you're gonna see a little bit of a shadow in the center here because the form is kind of going forward and backward, forward and backward. So think about what's coming forward, what's going backward, and that's gonna create more of a highlight or more of a shadow for you. So I'm gonna go through and start to bring some of those values into here. I'm also seeing that like the chin is coming forward here, so it's gonna be a little bit lighter in the center here and come towards a shadow around there. So I'm gonna start to do that, and then we'll talk about lip texture. right now I do want to show you with these lips in particular how I'm going to bring in some of the values here and the texture. So when you are doing some hair on lips, if I am trying to bring in the texture of like a mustache, what you're doing is look at the length of the mark. So his mustache is pretty like short hair length. So what I'll do is make sure my pencil is pretty sharp, and I'll just kind of go in, pay attention to how thick it is. When do I start to see some more of the skin underneath? When do I not see it? So it's kind of like the way we do eyebrows, which is showing these textures on top of the value. So I'm looking, it looks like it's kind of getting a little more thin as it goes down this way. So you're just kind of recreating that mark. Now when I'm looking at his lips, there's these vertical lines that come in through the values. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of lightly go through and show a little bit of that texture where I see it the most in the photograph. And that's like kind of just doing basically a little bit of like a hatching mark, the way we did like cross hatching. So some of those kinds of lines can be made there. You can also do that with a pencil eraser the same way for the highlights. Just kind of picking up some of the areas to show some highlights. I really see the texture in this picture up at the top of the lip there. So that's where I'm gonna do most of it. I'll bring a little bit over here. All right, so the bottom is the same. I'm gonna look at the way I can kind of bring in some line work here with my pencil first, and then with my eraser, bringing in some of this texture that's happening on top of these values.